Happy Thursday, guys. Happy Thursday. It is Sharla K coming live to you guys with another Forever Friends Academy. I've missed you guys on Instagram and Facebook, and I have entered the YouTube universe, guys. I'm happy about that. I'm excited to see the new people that I will meet. And I know for those of you who would come on live with me regularly, you're like, where have you been, Charlotte? Or where were you? Well, I did say that I wanted to take some time to get some music to you guys, which I'm happy I did. um, and even though I'm back live now with my Forever Friends podcast, I'm still going to, you know, get some new music to you guys. But I'm going to first of all, introduce myself for those who might not know who I am. All right, my name is Sharla Kornegay. I am the founder of Interask Coaching and Forever Friends Academy. I'm also an author and a recording artist. When I'm on the stage, I go by Sharla K, and you can find my music on just about every music platform. And I'm super excited because I am Monday going to release my Christmas album titled Snowflakes and Gumdrops, and I can't wait for you guys to hear it. I have been sitting on this since last year, so I'm super excited to get it to you guys. Yeah, and someone said, Charlotte, you're going to do a listening party? And I was like, you know what? I really wasn't, but now that you said it, maybe I might, right? So those are all the things that I'm into. Hey, Theo, how are you? And guys, I'm sorry, on YouTube, you're probably going to see my hand just like, well, maybe I shouldn't do that. I'm just going to do a virtual wave to the people who are coming in on Instagram. So, yeah, I have been doing the coaching for 8 years now. And I really just started it because of the gratitude, the immense gratitude and miracle of the relationship that I have with my husband. I met him in high school. I've known him since I was 13. We started what I like to call our forever friendship when I was 17 years old. So it's been a pretty miraculous journey seeing each other grow into womanhood, me into womanhood, him into manhood. And I really just out of that gratitude, and when people would engage in conversations with us, they would say, you guys need to write a book. You need to let people know how you guys are still liking each other, loving each other throughout the years. And so in order to do that, I wanted to make sure I knew what the needs of the people were. So I literally just started doing get-togethers at my house just to create a safe space where people can talk about relationship topics and not feel like they're alone. And I would do it, and I would sing, and they'd eat some good food that I would cook. I was serving overtime, y'all. And it went well, and it went so well that by the time I used to do one like maybe once every month, and then people started to actually stay and wait after I would leave and say, my husband was like, Charla, so-and-so is waiting for you to counsel them. And I was like, oh no, I don't do that. That is not what I do. But he encouraged me and saying, you are more than qualified to do it. And so I started doing it. And it's been amazing just to be able to witness the process of growth and to be able to have God give me in a way that I can help someone in one of the most essential areas of life, which is relationships. I always say that our relationships are the foundation of everything. There is no nation, no society that's not built upon the fundamental building block of family, right? Relationships, and no one in this lifetime can go through their life without being in some type of relationship, whether it's their relationship with the creator, relationship with their self, relationship with their family. We have to go through relationships. And so I always say, if I was God, which thank God I'm not, thank God I'm not, right? But if I was God, I said that if I had to hide some of the mysteries of life and the gems of wisdom that I could give and offer to humanity, it would be in an area that no one could escape. And so I feel like those gems are in the area of relationships. So I feel really honored and really blessed that I could take part, in someone's growth in that area. So If you are tuning in to me for the first time, thank you. And I hope that, one, you can feel the spirit of my energy, love. I'm always an ambassador for love and advocate for love. And those are the concepts and precepts that I kind of introduce here. And so, as a coach, I have really simply two approaches. One is that there are fundamental principles that we are to build our relationships on. I know that maybe some of you have heard this saying where they say, everybody's relationship is different, so you got to do what works for you. And I know that people who say that mean it in the best intentions, and I understand because, right, people are not monolithic, right? We're not the same, and so our lives are different, and so we might have to navigate it a little bit differently. But I ask you to think about any other area in life that you can look out in and say, pretty much, just do what works for you. Even the person who's saying that, there are fundamental principles, rules, things that they have adhere to even, right, maybe expound upon something or create something big, better and bigger than maybe the people who have came before them. So I like to present the fundamental principles that I have found has worked, thankfully, in my marriage, my relationship, but as well as worked in the clients that I have. So that's number one. Let's talk about what the godly fundamental principles and precepts of building a relationship foundation on, right? The foundation is the most important thing. We can color, right? We can do the coloring and kind of dance once the foundation is there, so that you're not going to be shifted through, right, the tests of life and the storms of life. So that's one. And then second is, I like to say that I am here to help you weed out all your lazy loving, right? Yeah, we can get lazy. we can get lazy with our loving, folks. All right, whether it's honestly you to yourself, or you to the partner that you have in life, or you to your family members. And let me explain to you what a lazy lover is in the way that I define it. I define a lazy lover as someone who does not love to their fullest capacity, right? Who does not display all of who they are. So it's very hard, right, to be able to extend that to someone else in life. And so the things that can prohibit that for us could be our fears, could be our insecurities, could be selfishness, could be lack of faith, can be lack of trust. Many different things, right, that combat us from fully showing up and pushing past our fears and having courage to be all of who God has called us to be. So that's the other kind of approach that I have. Let's weed out where it is. Let's find the areas and let's kind of hone in on it. So tonight is definitely going to be a Q&A. So I definitely want to get some questions that you have. But before we get into the Q&A, I did want to present one of those fundamental principles to you tonight that I have seen work over and over and over again. And I like to, because life can be, at least seem sometimes complex. So I like to try to take the complex issues of life and use very simple examples to try to convey the principle or the message or the lesson that we can learn through it. So one of the fundamental principles that I present when I'm coaching to help people be able to build solid, strong relationships that last a lifetime is that the dynamic of the relationship, right? Individually, even if you are a valuable person, even if you are astute in your gifts, your talents, and you are exercising, you are on your game, and you are doing, right, and thriving in what God has called you to do. If you now so choose to step into the vein of coming into a relationship with another human being, especially if it's going to be an intimate one, such as marriage, we have to realize that the man is not the prize, the woman is not the prize, but the relationship is the win, right? And so one of the ways that I explain this principle in a simplified way is that I'm sure maybe you've played a puzzle before. I love puzzles, especially the real, the really tiny ones that you have to take like, well, I guess depending on how good you are, you could do it very quickly. But for me, it kind of takes a while to get it all done. So anyway, if you take two pieces of a puzzle, right, and you have one piece over here and you have another piece, right, the idea of a puzzle is for us to be able to kind of see which pieces come together. And the beautiful part, at least for me, about building a puzzle is that as you put those pieces together, the picture gets clearer. So a lot of times when I'm in sessions with my clients and they're having some kind of conflict, I like to remind them and I like to bring them back to this principle. And I say, if you have two pieces of a puzzle, do you see the picture clearer when those pieces are apart or when they're together? And we all know the answer is when those two pieces are united, you see a clearer picture. You see the picture more expansively, right? And holistically, it's you don't just look at it with one angle. And that's the beauty about having a relationship, is that the relationship is going to afford both of you something bigger than what you have individually yourself. And if we keep that at the forefront of the relationship, then when there are new things that are occurring in the relationship, and we all know when we are stepping into areas of uncertainty, it's unknown to us. So fear, insecurity, doubt, all of those things can naturally come upon us because it's different and it's new, and it might call something more out of us, and it might be uncomfortable. And so that's okay. That's a natural process. If we know that us by ourselves individually we would not have been able to get the experience or the clear full picture that we're getting with us being united. So if you keep that in the center of your relationship, then when those times come, when there are things that are new, that are coming into your relationship, because it's going to call for elevation, it's going to call for looking at things in new and different ways, right? Even things that you might have thought you've known all along. When you are now joining with a person, it's going to create a greater vision. So that's one of the things that I can wholeheartedly say. If you honestly keep that in your relationship, you will be able to thrive, and that relationship will have a good grounds to remain and stay steadfast when there are challenges that come your way. And you might be listening, you might say like, okay, Sharla, how do you know what a fundamental principle is, right? And so one of the ways where you can, maybe if you have an idea that comes up to you, or if you're listening to me and you come on the podcast and I present something to you, every relationship has to be tested. I think all ideas, it's okay for you to question them, right? And so one of the ways that I know what a fundamental principle is that I can take it out of one area in life and put it in another area, and then the truth of that principle still remains, right? So I just talked about two people coming together in a relationship in a romantic or intimate sense, marital sense, and those two pieces of a puzzle coming together, creating a bigger picture. We can take it out of the context of marriage and we can put it in the corporate world, right? It doesn't matter. Like I'm the creator and CEO of Interask Coaching and Forever Friends Academy. One day, maybe, if that is where God is taking me, maybe I might have to coach some other coaches and create bigger, right? My vision has to expand, maybe because I need to serve more people. So if you have the person who started it, they're the one who owned it, they're still going to need those people, right, to be able to run the business. So even in a corporate sense, each piece to the puzzle matters, and each person who does their position and stays in their position and does it to their fullest capacity then creates greater service, right, to the masses, or it creates a greater vision. You can put it in a family context. You can put it in just about any context that you can think of. And if you are the person who might have created that business, or you're the person, for a lot of relationships, usually a lot of men are the ones who initiate the first, go going to initiate to let the woman know he's interested in her. Even if you are the person who did the first initiation of it, it still will remain the principle that the more people who come together create a stronger and a bigger vision, just like with those two pieces of the puzzle. So that's one of the principles that definitely you'll hear me talk about over and over again, because I think it's necessary to remind ourselves, because I know definitely whew, relationships, even if you are a wholehearted good person, it's hard to not kind of settle into your own type of, selfishness. And I don't mean selfishness in like you're a greedy person or in the obvious ways. A lot. I remember when I used to first do my Interask coaching sessions, I would say that selfishness masks itself as love many times in relationships, and people were like, "Oh, I am not selfish. What? No, how dare you?" And then we would talk and we start to break it down, and like, oh, I am a little I am a little selfish, and so it's very easy to kind of stay in or look at something from one angle and your perspective and what it is that you desire or what it is you feel that you need. And being in any type of relationship context, whether it's intimate, whether it's working in an organization or a corporation or a family, it's going to take you stepping back, not just looking from your perspective, but also looking at things holistically and seeing what is the greater good for all of us. Because I know that if you have people working in harmony and unity, we can make greater gains. We are going to get more clarity when it's done that way, more than if I could individually do it myself. I have beautiful friends, and I'm thinking about my two beautiful sisters of Be Love Inc., Shantae and Shantavia. Shout out to them. They're going live at 9, so be sure to check them out on their Be Love Inc. YouTube channel and Instagram. But I'm thinking about them because they're twin sisters, and they started a ministry as well as a business. And I always, admire the way that they work with each other. And it's such a blessing because it's two of them. And you guys know, if anybody has heard my music, my first EP was titled Two is Better Than One, because it's just true. You as one individual don't have to handle everything on your own. So it's great, the fact that one of them can kind of handle this area and the other can handle another area that they might not be so great at. And so when we consider that in our relationships, then it's less, it's harder to fall into a state where you're just kind of either defensive towards your partner, or you're forgetting how to value them and what they bring, and the honor doesn't decrease slowly. So that is principle number 1 that I would love to introduce to you guys tonight. So let me know what your thoughts are. If you have any questions, I threw a lot of things out there. I did receive one question tonight from somebody, and I'll pose that definitely before we get off. But I just want to give you guys time, and I just want to say hi to the people coming in. I usually would try to press the wave button at you, but because I'm also on YouTube and Facebook, I don't want my arm to kind of reach on over just for the aesthetic. So I'm going to give you a virtual wave to Justin, Emily, Michelle, and Bobby. And some of you guys have come in and I have not. I think it's Mig21 Jack. I hope I didn't wreck your name. And my beautiful sister Shantae over here. So thank you guys for tuning in. So let me know if you have any thoughts on what I just said. I think it's one of the things that definitely have helped me in my relationship, and it's helped many of my couples, because so many relationships honestly just struggle because people don't really value who they have in their life. And so, when the emotions are high and it's in the beginning and it's at that honeymoon stage, it's all good, because especially if you were praying or you were waiting long for this person to come into your life, but as familiarity sets in, as time goes, we have to remind ourselves every so often about the prayer that we prayed before they came into our lives. And oftentimes I'll say that to my clients when they're having some kind of issue. I just say, just remember the prayer that you prayed before they got there, or think about how you felt when they weren't in your life. And that kind of quickly puts them right back, into a positioning to continue to honor their mate. For those of you who used to come on live, I haven't stopped. I started Forever Friends Academy I go through Buy Me a Coffee, and I'm like 9 months in. I'm so proud of myself. I'm proud of myself, and I'm so grateful for those who have started with me and they've continued with me. So I've been doing sessions every week there. You can definitely check it out. You can go, if you're on IG, you can go to my link in the bio. You can find, if you want to go there, you get one-on-one time with me in the group coaching. And I'm bringing it up because we just had a session yesterday, and we've been talking about the difference between love and cherish. And I had asked everyone who was in the session a question that I love, which is that if let's just say you've been granted your angel wings and you're able to, you've done all that you needed to do here, and you're granted your angel wings, and now you can look back at all the people that you engaged with. How would you like to be remembered? Would you like to be remembered as someone who was loved, someone who was cherished, someone who was respected, or someone who was honored? So that's a question you guys can think about. It's a great conversation piece. By the way, you can always come to my to Forever Friends Academy and come to me to get some engaging questions, good talking points for conversations with your your significant other or your friends. So think about that. What would you like to be remembered as? Would you like to be remembered as the people towards you, that you were someone who was loved, you were somebody who was cherished, you were somebody who was respected, or you were somebody who was honored? So I'll let you guys think about it. Hey, Craig. Hey, Melodic Bells. Oh, I missed you. Hi, honey. Thank you for popping in. We used to have some late night conversations. Melodic Bells on here with me, right? And so when I did my session, so many of them instantaneously said, loved. I definitely want to be remembered as someone who was loved. And I think one of the men that was on with us said, at first I said immediately respected. And I'm sure maybe some of the men who are listening right now probably went directly there, because I'm sure anyone who has been in the space, this relationship industry space, where men definitely always talk about, I want to be respected. Love is not the same. Men don't kind of interpret it or embrace it the same as women, but respect, that's what we want. But then he said, if I'm thinking about, okay, my life is over and this is how people are remembering me, no, I want to be loved. And when he said that, I just automatically made me think like, oh, wow. I'm wondering that when men say that, are they just saying respect because they don't necessarily feel like maybe that people are going to give them the love? So if you're not going to love me, at least respect me. So I said I'm going to have to probably do a panel of men to talk about that topic. But I thought the answers were interesting. My answer, if you guys are still thinking about it, I wrote a song called Love High. That's my most right now highly rated song, viewed song by people. And some of the lyrics in the chorus of the song says, we're never coming down from this love high that we found. We'll just hold on to our faith and pray that love will save the day. And then it says, as long as you cherish me and I honor you. So you guys know my answer already because I put it in the lyrics. that I would like to be cherished. And I had told them that oftentimes the way my mind works is like I like to think of the things, and it goes hand in hand with my approach of presenting fundamental principles to people to be able to navigate their relationships, because I do believe that in our thought process or how we navigate life, that there are certain things that encompass other things, right? That there are certain steps that you make that cause a ripple effect in other areas of your life. Now, for those who are biblical, who know the verse Matthew 6:33, it says, first seek the kingdom of God, right? First, and all other things will be added onto you. So that's one of those things. And so when we were talking about love and cherish, I said the reason why I picked cherish is that I thought about it and I said, there are people that you can love from afar. Let me know if you got some people you loving from afar right now. Right? You can love them from afar. They do not have to be in your space. You can think about them, but you have to love them at a distance, right? But somebody that you cherish, or the people that you cherish, you want them to be close, right? You want them to be close. And so I thought about that. I was like, can I love somebody and not cherish them? For sure. I have done that. But can I cherish somebody and not love them? That I think is harder to do. I think that's harder to do. I think if I truly cherish something, or I truly cherish someone, I want them to be close to me. I want to show my thankfulness for them. And so for me, when I thought about it, I really feel like I'm realizing that to cherish something is more of an elevated form of an expression of love towards them. And so that is my melodic said, I picked respected. Hey, different, that's fine, right? It's only your answer. There's no wrong answer. But that's very interesting. That's very interesting because on my session, I don't think any of the women picked respected. I think it was just the men. So that's very interesting. She said, but you changed my mind. Oh no. That quickly, huh? Well, I thought of also, when you think of cherish, I think it encompasses all of those things, right? When you cherish someone, then you set an environment where you honor, you love, and you respect them. And we were talking about the difference between love and cherish, right? And I gave them an example that love is like charcoal, right? I know that might sound funny, but I'm explaining it. Love is like charcoal, right? Let's just imagine we have a fire pit or something like that. And, I don't really do this. My husband does this, so I'm probably not explaining this right. But let's just say that you are, starting the fire pit, and, you have to put the things in there, whether it's wood. I know everybody's fire pit is different, but let's just say we have to start it with coal for the sake of my example. Sometimes when coal is burning, you can't see it, right? And love is like that. It suffers long. It's enduring. It's kind. It's extremely patient. Right? Cherish is something different. Imagine that cherish is like the fire, that you see. And I was explaining to some of the members on my Forever Friends Academy that when you cherish someone, it's different. You are enthusiastic about the love that you have, the miracle of your love. You are outwardly boastful about it. It is what keeps the relationship from falling into lack of honor. It is what allows us not to become lazy lovers to each other. For us to constantly remind, like, yeah, you know what? And it's interesting because you can check yourself, those who might be watching right now, maybe you are in an intimate relationship or you're in a marriage, and you can say, I definitely know I love this person, but have I forgotten to cherish them, like in the way that I'm engaging with them on a daily basis? In what ways am I expressing that I cherish them truly? So I'm going to give a moment because Emily answered. She said, I'd probably rather be remembered as being loved. Yeah, lots of people said that for sure. Thank you for your answer. So that's a question that you can ask yourself, because there's definitely a difference. And me, I always, whenever you come here, all I can tell you and give you, because I'm not doing this because of a degree or a document that I attained or a certification in the ways, and I'm not mocking those things by any ways. I did go to college with and majored in communication studies, and your girl was smart. I graduated summa cum laude, just to just to put that out there. I was a good student, but I did not start my coaching because of that at all. No, not at all. It really is honestly because of not only the miracle of the relationship that I have with my husband, but even before me meeting him, God just filling voids that I had with his love, and me just not being the same after that. And so I wanted to help other people. At the core, I want to help other people to be able to experience that type of love and that type of freedom that comes with that. And so whenever I think of this too, I always go back to, the spiritual connotation of it, or the biblical context. And I was just telling I think it was in my session, I was saying I had to think about Christ when I was thinking about cherishing someone. And I was just like, wow, if you think about, like, you have God the Father, and he's the creator, he's creating everything, and he's loving us from afar, right? He's loving us from afar, and he's providing for us. But when you put Christ into the context, and even before that, when God is reaching out his hand constantly, right, to the children of Israel, or his people, and he's showing up in different ways, it's because of that cherish type of relationship, right? Wanting to be in the midst with that person, wanting to have and be present in such a way, and express love in such a way to the fullest capacity that it offers freedom to the next person. Another we have a good time in these sessions, y'all. But another thing that we have talked about in the sessions that I've had, and a quote that I came up with through some of the sessions where we were talking about what the question was, what freedom does marriage afford a man? But then, of course, anybody know, in in Forever Friends Academy fashion, and with me, we always go to deeper depths, and the conversation just goes into so many different directions. And we were talking about what freedom really meant, and I like to chase the etymological roots of words. And I realized that as I was chasing it and researching it, that freedom actually meant very differently from what we use it today, and it actually just meant to love. And so I just automatically thought of this phrase, or this quote, that freedom is to love someone with such great capacity that it sets yourself free and the other people around you, right? And I think just putting it back into the context of cherishing each other, or even if it's not outward to someone else, but cherishing your own life, right? Cherishing your own opportunity to pour out whatever, all of what's inside of you, right? I've always said that I had a fear. I used to have a fear. I don't have it anymore. But growing up, I realized I was multi-talented and multifaceted. And I don't, maybe you've heard, right? Books like The One Thing, Pick Your One Thing. Oh my gosh, Queen, hey, sis. Sorry, I see some people coming in, Tron. Hello. I'm so glad. Oh, they kicked me off. I hope they let me go back. Sorry, guys. They kicked me off Instagram. Okay, I'm back, guys. They kicked me off real quick. I'm driving. I saw this when I had stopped, so I'm listening. Okay, no problem. Definitely don't. Drive safe. Drive safe. I'm glad you're listening in. So I used to have this fear because I was multi-talented, and I didn't want to forsake not near one of my gifts, right? And so that saying where it says jack of all trades, master of none. And I was like, oh, Sharla, you're going to be that. You're definitely going to be that, because here you are, back then it was acting, singing, dancing, writing, I just didn't want to let up on any of them. I was like, I'm going to do all of it. But then when I heard that phrase, I was like, oh, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? And so thankfully, thank God to my husband, because I remember I was vulnerably expressing that to some of the people when I used to do the sessions here at my home. And he said, Charlotte, you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about not, you know, being able to express all your gifts or feeling like you won't be a master of one. You can be a master of obedience, and it just kind of hit me. It just kind of hit me when he said it, because I was like, that makes a lot of sense. You know, we are made up and equipped with so much. We are made up and equipped with so much. And I think being able to do what you know that you're supposed to do, or what God is telling to you to do in the moment, and staying present to do that, is a great gift. It's a great opportunity. And to bring it back to what I was talking about with the cherishing and me thinking about Christ, it's like you're not just, and just connecting that to you, not just outwardly cherishing someone else, but also cherishing the life that God has given you, and not forsaking those things that you know that you can pour out into the world because you're just meant to do it. Is Christ not only wanted to be close to us, to cherish us in that way, but also he was just very surrendered to what God had called him to do, right? And a part of him being able to do it to his fullest capacity and show the love is an act to cherish, right? To cherish that purpose, to cherish the people that he was extending it to. And so you can take, right, this principle or this attitude or this perspective and put it, whether you're married or whether you want to do it towards your child, or whether you want to do it towards, another familial relationship, or whether you want to take it into a business that you have or some kind of entrepreneurship that you're doing. It still applies, right? It still applies. And there's a part of it where I always used to say, I was used to, in my own self, I'm like, God, you are so funny, because I'm a very private individual. I'm sure most of you guys have noticed it, whether you're on Facebook or on IG. I don't post many personal things about my life because I'm just a very private person. And I realize that with the gifts that I have, whether it's singing and performing, or whether it's coaching like this, I have many of my gifts are on public display. And we all know that when you are in public display, you are at the mercy of scrutiny. You're at the mercy of criticism and critique, which is great in one way because it makes you, right, exercise your gift and fine tune it and sharpen it depending on how you take it. But then the type of world we live in right now, where people just say things just because you're doing something and they might not be doing it. And so they're going to throw whatever stones and things your way. And you have to have tough skin, you have to have tough skin. But I've always said, God, my prayer is that if I have to forsake my privacy to be able to put out into the world what you've given me, or the messages that you shared to me personally to give, then I'll do that. That's fine. I will be the public spectacle. I will take whatever those things that come my way, just so that I can fulfill that purpose in the same way that Christ did it for us. So I think if we can take that same type of mentality when it comes to our relationships, our marriages, then we will have some good grounding to not only thrive in the relationship and love each other to our fullest capacity, but now have room for your relationship to grow to a point where it's not just impacting you, but it's also impacting other people. It's also impacting other people. I think that's one of the greatest gifts for me that I've been given, is to be able to, see people's lives that that first of all gave me some of the most precious resources in life, which is their time, right, and their energy, and some have, and their investment and belief that I could really truly help them. And see all of that come full circle to where I've had people who felt like they were on the verge of divorce, or relationships that were feeling like they were going to break and it was lifeless and there was no way it could turn around. And to see, God's mercy, his grace breathe upon that relationship and it be resurrected to something else is like, whoa, nothing. I don't think anything beats that, to be able to say that I could have been, to take a part in that and witness that. It's like one of the greatest experiences that I have had and continue to have, being able to operate in this space. And, I just try to put it out there, whether it be my coaching or my music. And so, yeah. But I feel like I've been talking a lot. Let me just make sure that I haven't missed any questions. Okay, so I'm leaving the space now for you guys to ask any questions that you have before I hop off. But I thank you for popping in with me. I so appreciate it. I always say that you can be anywhere. So choosing to come in here with me and spend some time, your time and your energy is priceless. And it is very much important for us to assess how we are spending our energy and whether we feel like whatever we're engaging is valuable. So I appreciate you spending time with me, feeling like whatever we're talking about, whatever I am presenting is valuable to you. So I appreciate that. So I want to leave space to see if you guys have any questions or statements about the things that I presented, just to review for maybe some of those who came on at a later time. I just presented 2 fundamental principles that I present to my clients, that I coach, that I use in my own life, which is 1, there are fundamental principles that you can build your relationship on. I know when I was younger, I would try to learn things to guard my heart. My father passed away when I was a young girl, when I was 7. So for me, I was like, okay, I felt like I had to protect myself, and my mom early on in my life couldn't really raise me. So for me, I just wanted to learn, observe, and it was really just to protect me from those who might be trying to harm me. I didn't realize now, hindsight, that God was just really preparing me for what I was going to do in the future. So we want to learn fundamental principles to build our relationships on, not to say that, okay, this is going to, ward you from ever being hurt or ward you from ever being offended in your relationship. That's not why we're learning. We're learning it because we're human beings, and even if you're a good person and you have all the best intentions, talk to anybody who's been in a relationship for a long time, and they will tell you that there are moments that without me even knowing, I've offended my partner, or they've offended me, or they hurt me and they didn't know, things like that. It's not so much to guard yourself in that way, because many of us have been in relationship experiences where we have been hurt, or it didn't go the way that we thought. The reason why we want to learn the fundamental principles, 1, because relationships are a fundamental building block of life, and you won't be able to escape it. So if it is something that is constantly, right, we're going to be met with, then we want to talk about it, and we want to be equipped. And we want to be equipped in such a way that if the blows come, we don't just break, or we don't just fall down and then don't get up again, because we can be reminded of the principles that we've talked about. So that's 1. There are fundamental building blocks to relationships that you can apply in your relationship. Now, I'm not saying that the dynamics of everyone's relationship is going to look the same. No. Right? We have different businesses. I do relationship coaching. Maybe my sisters, they do, worship flag, and there are many different businesses, but each business has to get a business certificate, right? There are certain fundamental steps that you have to take to be able to build that business before, right, you can fully be flowing in it. So in that same way, There are certain principles and certain concepts that it will be advantageous and afford you to learn, so that you can put it in your toolbox, that when life's challenges and unpredictable moments come, you can pull it out and say, oh, I know what this is, right? So I'm not going to be anxious. I'm not going to be so flustered by it, because I've already kind of, right, know what it is. So that's one. And two, right, let's weed out all the lazy loving. And one of the ways that we can weed out the lazy loving, whether it's towards ourselves or towards the people that we say that we love, is that we can start to cherish them. We can start to cherish them. And one question, again, that you could simply ask yourself is that, I know, am I loving this person? I know I love this person, but am I cherishing them? And what does that look like if I cherish them? What are the things that I can do, or what are the things that I'm willing to do to express that in the relationship? So that is that. So let me know if you have any questions about what I presented, and then I'm going to definitely say the question, because I did get one question I had put on IG. I said, I'm going live tonight. Let me know what your relationship questions are. And I did get one question, so I do want to answer. And first of all, let me present it to you guys, see what your thoughts are. And the question, I probably should have wrote it down. I'm so bad, guys. I'm a little rusty coming on here. But I believe the question was, what is the appropriate time for a woman to come home? I think that's what the question was. The question was like, what is the appropriate time for a woman to come home from being out? So I'll pose it to you guys, see what your thoughts are on that. But that was a question that I did receive, so I do want to present it on tonight's episode and see what you guys throw back at me. And I'll also try to answer that question to the best of my ability. So I'm going to give you a moment and see if you guys have any feedback or any statements. Yeah, Melodic Bell says like deep passion. Yeah, but I think cherish, because it's so connected to love, right? You don't want, because I think somebody could have passion and not and have lust underneath there, not necessarily love. So I think cherish is a little bit deeper than passion, that is maybe like a raging passion that just kind of is like a wildfire and then it goes away. I think cherish is a mixture of that example that I gave, that love is. It's like the charcoal, it's burning. And maybe it's not so outwardly out there that you see it, but when you mix that love that suffers long and is kind and patient, enduring, along with authentically cherishing someone, I think there's more of a deep honor, deep gratitude that makes you want to highlight, just makes you want to immerse yourself and have a extreme degree of thankfulness for what you are experiencing or what you have. And I'm thinking of an example that I can give you. I saw this video, and you guys can let me know, because it came up on my Instagram feed, and it was a video of, I think it was Steve Harvey. He was accepting an award. I can't remember what the award was, but it was a little snippet of the acceptance speech that he gave. And immediately when he came on the stage, his acceptance speech was towards his wife. And I don't know if some of you guys know, but I know very little, but I have heard, some of the accusations that were coming out against his wife, rumored that she, had stepped out on their marriage. So you can tell that in his speech, he was protecting, right? He was protecting his marriage. And I think in the speech, he was just like, I don't know what you guys are trying to do, but the man that I am today, I have become because my wife has been by my side. She has, because of her, I've been transforming and things like that. And he started to state scriptures. He even stated one of my favorite scripture, well, my favorite scripture, not one, the favorite scripture of mine, which is Psalm 91. And he was just saying, basically whatever you're throwing at us, it's not going to break us. We're Psalm 91, and we're with some other scriptures that he was naming. And I just was like, wow, that's that type of public, not only adoration towards her, but he's also in the midst fighting, for their marriage, and fighting in, I guess, with the best thing you possibly could, which is to cover them, with God's word, or protect the relationship. So cherishing would be something in that way, that's not a fleeting thing. People can be passionate and can be very fleeting because it's just built upon lust, not necessarily love. Cherishing, it's gonna come in a different manner. So, but I appreciate you for that. Thank you. So let me know if you guys have any answer for the question that I posed, that someone else posed, that they wanted me to present tonight. I think they wanted to know, what do you think is, I guess, the appropriate time for a woman to be out. I didn't have much context with it, because I definitely do think that it definitely is kind of a scenario type of question, because you can't have a blanket statement of just this time. It depends on what the person does, their occupation, things like that. But it gave me, I guess, the vibe of maybe what is an appropriate time for a woman to be out, if they are married or things like that. I don't know. But let me know if you guys have a answer to that. And then we're going to wrap it up. I'm not going to keep you guys too long. So you can either answer that, or if you have your own question that you'd like to be answered, let me know. But if not, we'll wind it down, and I'll be back on Sunday. I'm excited to be back on here with you guys. And I'm excited for you guys to hear my Christmas album. I'm so excited for you guys to hear that. I have my favorite song on there. It's called Love Unconditional right now. Yeah. So hopefully you guys like it. All right. So let me know. Any question, folks? Any questions? If not, we're going to go. Hey, oh, Divine. I didn't see that you were in here. Hey. So I'm going to give a moment, because I know you guys might be typing. And of course, if you're on Facebook, no, not Facebook, Instagram, if you're on Instagram and you want to come on, you don't feel like you want to type it, and you're Instagram live ready, meaning like you dressed, you dressed in appropriately, and you're okay with being on camera, you can always do that as well. YouTube, I don't think I have that yet. Yeah. So let me know. Maybe 9. Okay. Melodic Bell says maybe 9 p.m. Really? She like, if she out there any later than that, she for the streets. Nobody playing melodic. She like, get home. You know what I thought about when I saw that question? I was just thinking like, oh my gosh, if you're what's she said, for real. If you're a woman, right, and if you have family, you have a business, you have things that you're handling and doing, you don't even, I just immediately thought, like, if it's not a curated, like, event that I have to be at, you're not going to find me. You're not going to find me out there in the streets. If I have the moment to kind of woo-saw moment, I want to relax. So unless it's like, right, related to what I have to do, no, I'm not going to be out in those streets. Because what are you doing out in the streets? Oh, I'm with you, Melodic. I didn't think of a time, but that's immediately what I thought about. Was like, Do I have to be out there? I probably if I'm out there, then I probably have to be out there. It's probably something to do with, you know, business. But I just thought of it. It had to be scenario because, for me as a performer, a lot of performances that I have are in the night. So I'm not getting home at 9. If I have concert or something to do, I'm gonna get home a lot later, and that should be understood. So I think that definitely is kind of a scenario basis. And you had to just have a blanket curfew for women to come in. I think it definitely has to depend on clearly their clear communication with each other, in the relationship, as well as it depends on you know what her career is, what she's doing. Um, but I think that's with anything. If you're doing something, you got to do it with a purpose and a plan. Because if not, then you can easily be tossed very easily, or influenced by things that might not be serving you. So it's got to be a reason. I don't know necessarily if you can put a blanket statement time depending on what that woman does, but I talk to a lot of women, whether they're stay-at-home moms or they are doing both. They're they're trying to relax. They're not trying to be out necessarily outside their house. Don't get me wrong. You might want to go out, enjoy yourself, and things like that. But um, everything we do in life takes effort and energy to do it and put into it. So if it is a dynamic where it is a family, or they're a married couple and things like that, I haven't really come across too many couples where the woman is just like, yeah, I'm just gonna stay out and just just be out there. But I'm sure that there are. But if that is the case, and if it is an issue for the man in the relationship, then that just has to be clearly communicated, in a way. But I don't think with good reasoning, with good reasoning, because like I said, if it has something to do with the career that she has, then we can't. That's not logical. But if it's just out there, not necessarily with a purpose and things like that, that's a different story. So, but thank you, Melodic. Anybody else have an answer to that? I don't know if there are any men on here, but I'd love to hear from you guys in regards to that. Um, yeah, I'll give it probably until 9. I give it until 9 if you guys have any questions, whether answering that question or another question that you have. But other than that, we're going to sign off. And please let me know. I'll try to do that. Um, Maybe either a day before or on the day that I come on, where you can send your questions that you want me to present, or even if it's not a question, but maybe a relationship topic that you'd like me to expound upon, just because the approach might be different from what you're used to hearing. So definitely you let me know. Well, I still see eyes, so I see you guys are all still there. Maybe you guys are typing. I don't know. I don't know. All right. Well, I don't see any questions coming in, so I'm definitely gonna wrap it up. So I will be back on. I'll be coming on Thursdays and Sundays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, talking about many different variety of relationship topics. But feel free, those of you who feel like you're not in a relationship, it's okay. You can come, because one thing that you'll find here is that the concepts that I introduce, you can apply them to other areas of your life, and it'll impact those areas as well. So until next time, and be on the lookout for my Christmas EP, Snowflakes and Gumdrops, drop in December 18th. And let me know. Someone just was telling me that I should do like a listening party. So maybe I'll do like a little question or poll answer there to let me know if you guys would be interested in that. If you're interested and I get enough people interested, then I'll actually do it. So, but love you guys. Thank you for tuning in to me. And until next time, always remember to live to love freely, and definitely go to my YouTube page, subscribe to Forever Friends Academy if you want some more in-depth coaching and where you can get one-on-one, well, not one-on-one because it's a group coaching membership, subscription based. You can go to my link if you're on IG to go to buy me a coffee and join my Forever Friends Academy. We have lots of great conversations there. So, and choose whatever membership that you want. All right, but love you guys and have a good night. Bye.